Most t-shirts are simply cool to look at and or look in. Well, so are ours, but ours also aim to send a message. They aim to put a name on obstacles that once stood in your way and aren't there anymore. Struggles that you turned into successes and crushed. You made it look easy. Shop at mile.today. Mile.today. www.mile.today. A GNS collection.
This is Erica Hampton, owner of lifestyle and fashion brand Tagged Up Apparel, listening to my guy Decal on E.I.T.H.R Radio. What's up, Davey?
You are listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with Decal. Tell a friend, or we will probe you.
So, let's start with the E.I.T.H.R.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Decal here, podcasting from the GNS headquarters in beautiful, sunny Northern California, Sacramento to be exact. Glad you guys are able to make it today. It's nice and a tad bit warm outside, but we're going to get through today so we can enjoy the rest of our weekend. Here at the E.I.T.H.R podcast, we like to do a little bit of thinking outside the box, so I kind of wanted to get to some news that's going to be happening with the podcast in the near future. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and give some shout outs to some people. I want to give a shout out to the lovely Clarissa Johnson at E.I.T.H.R. Also want to give a shout out to Mild Clothing Line. These are some of the sponsors and people who partnered up with the podcast to kind of help us, make us a little bit more special, bringing smiles to each and every person here, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to my girl Erica Hampton. We go back many moons, man. We worked in the cell phone business together, and now she's owning her own, establishing her own, and creating her own company. So, I tell you, man, this whole COVID thing, it brings out the hustle in everybody. Definitely got to give a big shout out to my people over in the Business Lounge for Successful Entrepreneurs Facebook group. I may have told you guys about this group before. It's a Facebook group that I've been a part of for a while, and it's a lot of hungry, motivated, inspired, driven, dedicated entrepreneurs all over the country and some outside the country who are literally looking to network and build their business and do everything that everyone else is trying to do in the world, which is kind of make it to a better level than what we all are currently at. So I wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to that group, and much success. Like I said, if you're able to get a hold of the Business Lounge for Successful Entrepreneurs, hashtag BL4SE. You're gonna find out that it's a beautiful place to be at, and there's a bunch of people here that have a common future, unlike some of the people that's in our lives with common past. So I want to go ahead and give a shout out to them. I want to give a shout out to GNS Entertainment. That's the instrumentals that you guys hear in the background to kind of help with the melody of the podcast, to kind of make the time go by a little bit faster, make it a little more comfortable for everybody. Got the music playing just because I figure, it's Friday afternoon. Some people are in their cars, they're listening. Some people are at the lake lounging. Some people are just in their backyard chilling. Some people are in their front yard chilling. So I figure the music kind of helps digest everything that we're discussing here on the podcast from time to time. Like my father used to tell me, music soothes the savage beast. So even if we talk about topics and subjects that you may not agree with, the music kind of helps accept the things that you don't agree with. If you guys can go ahead and find the Spreaker app, SPREAKER.com, It makes it a little bit easier to get a hold of us via chat. So that way you can go ahead and chat us here on the podcast and participate. While I'm speaking, you can be tweeting, or you can even hit us up on the Instagram. Both handles are the same. It's at E.I.T.H.R. at the E.I.T.H.R. The E.I.T.H.R. is the elephant in the room. That's kind of where we discuss topics and things that people really aren't necessarily comfortable with talking about, but we do our bestest to make it easier to communicate. That way everything's on a level ground and everybody's kind of on an even keel. And I do my best to make sure that my platform gives everybody a fair shot, a fair shake at whatever is on their mind. So if there's anything that you would like for me to talk about, discuss, bring up that needs attention, go ahead and hit us on those platforms. Also, we have a YouTube page. Just search for the parent company at E.I.T.H.R. You'll see the diamond-shaped logo, and just go ahead and subscribe. And that way, if you do happen to miss a podcast episode, or for whatever reason you're unable to download anything for the podcast, because some people are located in areas where internet may be a little bit of a challenge, you can go and get each and one of 23 episodes that we currently have for the E.I.T.H.R. podcast right there on the YouTube station. One thing I want to discuss real quick. Like I said, we like to think outside the box here at the E.I.T.H.R. podcast. So, some things that's going to be happening in the future. Starting next week, we are going to be broadcasting on Wednesdays. So you'll be getting us Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3:30 to whenever the hell the podcast ends. I try to do it within 1 hour, but sometimes we give the topics that might be a little bit lengthier than that. But try to, respect everybody's time, because, we get so good in this that everybody gets wrapped up and you forget about what's going on in your life. So I want to be a little bit considerate of what you have going on and make you a priority as well. But a little twist is coming in the near future. When exactly? Not exactly too sure, but it is going to be definitely in the near future, where here at the E.I.T.H.R. podcast, we're going to start doing what's called guest hosts. Now, most podcasts you've heard, or most shows you've heard, you have guest appearances, you have guest speakers, you have people who come on and feature, so on and so forth, right? Well, here on my damn podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to have some of the people that I know come on, and they're going to pretty much not run the podcast, but help narrate some things that's going to go on. So I talk to, my ES out in Ohio, my A1 out in San Leandro, my Fuzz here in Sacramento, a couple other people that I'm putting in contact with. So we're going to do something maybe once a month, possibly once a week. We're thinking about calling it, well, I'll save the name for a little bit later. But my thing is, we have a podcast, which means I have a platform that has a voice, and there's people out there who's listening. And so I want to be able to give my podcast, my platform, to people who have stuff to say that can relate to other markets and other people that I don't necessarily relate to, or I don't have reach to. And so I figured, why not? If I eat, we all should get full. So that's definitely something that I want to go ahead and touch base on real quick. Another thing, we mentioned the YouTube page, right? Well, in the works, the GNS Inc. also has their own internet TV station, if you will. One of my biggest gripes is there are certain people who control the country, who control the world, who control what people see, what people hear, and in some cases, they control what people say. So we kind of trying to nip that in the bud by taking a little bit of power, just a little bit at a time, and creating different outlets and different avenues. So GNSETV.com, if you guys want to go there. Right now, there's not much content on it. You might get like a minute or so worth of looped information about what's happening with the company, so on and so forth. But we're eventually going to start loading our podcast episodes there, some media there. So anybody who is in the market of television or TV or any type of video and you need a platform to put your product on, GNSE TV is going to be an outlet for you guys. Just want to go ahead and put that out there. It's going to be fun, man. It's really going to be fun. So eventually I'm going to get my webcam situated. I'm using my Beats headphones and my mobile device. Eventually I'm going to get my webcam and I'm going to get my dynamic microphone set up in my studio. And put a face to the voice. So that way you guys can actually see some live streaming going on. So there's a few things that's happening with the podcast in the near future. So it's big things coming, as my stripper would tell me. Big things are coming. So that's in the future, in the very near future, and I'm kind of proud of that. I'm kind of liking the fact that a lot of people appreciate what it is that I'm trying to do, and appreciate what it is that I got going, and appreciate what it is that I have done in the future. So y'all stay tuned. Motivational tip for everybody. I love to do these things. Naturally, this goes before the shout out. But I had to get those things out the way just so people kind of knew what's going on. So when you eventually start hearing other voices, female voices, different tones of voices on the show along with me or instead of me, I don't want you guys thinking that, something happened, but it's definitely, I'm trying to take care of as many people as I possibly can. But motivating tip for the day. Listen, everybody is hot. So please do your best to stay cool. And I ain't talking about the weather. I'm not talking about the weather. Everybody's extremely irritable right now because of the weather. Depending on where you are in the country, it could be record-breaking hot. It could just be irritably hot. You could just be hot because your AC don't work, right? All kinds of reasons. It's summertime. Gas prices are whatever gas prices are wherever you're at. Hopefully they're coming down for you like they are here in Northern California. But depending on where they're coming down to, can still be high for your particular area. And I know here in Northern California, when you see cheap gas, people will run a light. They will merge into a lane without signaling. They will instantly brake check you. They will turn with no hesitation into a gas station to get gas. They will see you in line waiting to get gas. They'll pull up to the car that's you're waiting on to leave, and they're on the other side of the car. And the more that car is to pull out, they will try to jump ahead of you to get gas. I've seen it. I've seen people jackknife a whole ass fucking lane because someone was trying to turn around because their pump was on the other side, and someone jackknife in front of them so no cars can get around them and get out their car and pay at the pump and look at you like, I got here first, knowing damn well you were waiting before them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not worth it. Everybody's hot. So everyone needs to go ahead and stay cool, man. Just keep your level-headedness and try not to get into a fight in the middle of summer over some fucking gas. Second thing, it's hot. Everybody needs to stay cool. Listen, I was one of these guys when I was younger as well. But when you at the gas pump, turn your damn music down, man. Listen, I know you think that your beat is the only beat that beats. I get that. You got your 412s in the trunk of your car. Your mids and your highs are crappy. They're all stock. You have no amp other than for your subwoofers, and your windows don't roll down, so you want to leave your door open while you go pay for gas and you play your partner's burned CD in your car to promote his music. Listen, bro, listen. You got elderly people that's trying to get gas in this heat. You got people with sleeping babies at the gas pump trying to get heat. Don't do anything that's you wouldn't want somebody doing to you that will piss you off. As my late brother Joe would say, don't become what you hate. Don't do that, right? Because you're having a bad day. Don't make somebody else's day miserable because you're having a bad day, right? Just, it's hot, man. Stay cool. Just stay cool. That's all you gotta do. No big deal. Everybody's trying to get someplace, so why not just respect it and get your gas and turn the music back up when you leave, man. Simple as that. Here's some sponsors right quick, and we'll get back to the podcast.
Hi, this is Clarissa with Sipology, and we have a fantastic selection of tea, teaware, and various other items. Currently, we are offering a huge 25% off sale with Christmas in July. Come check us out on Facebook at E.I.T.H.R. That's E.I.T.H.R.
Yo, what up, folks? This is Rodney Farrell, the CEO of Farrell Development Group, and you're listening to the E.I.T.H.R. podcast, hosted by E.I.T.H.R. Let's get it.
All right, so we're gonna get into this thing right now, man. A few things has been on my mind. Some things has been on my mind for a few weeks. Some things have kind of been on my mind for a few hours. And like I said, if you guys can find the Spreaker app, SPREAKER.com, and look for the E.I.T.H.R. podcast. You can chat with me here, and you can participate in telling me what some things that is on your mind that you want me to talk about. Let's get right into it, man. One thing I think is interesting this is not that big of a deal for some people, but for me, I kind of take it as the universe is very unique. I think ever since I've established the E.I.T.H.R. podcast and kind of put it out there to the universe, right? You know how when you go shopping for a vehicle, you find a car that you really like, and for whatever reason, you leave the lot, right? You leave the lot after you found what you want. And for the rest of the time until you buy that car, that's the only car you see. Anyone else have that happen to them? You know, it might be the same exact color. It might be the same exact make and model, 1 to 3 years within the year of the car that you want. But isn't that shit kind of crazy though? They say you notice it because you're looking for it more than you were before. I think it's not just that. I figured that's what you want, and the universe kind of put it in your face. Now you can kind of go either way it goes with that. But the reason why I bring that up is because when I listen to radio or when I listen to music or just in general conversation, I noticed the phrase elephant in the room has been coming up a lot lately, right? When I'm at the store, shopping, someone will be having a conversation, and I don't mean to eavesdrop. I don't at all. I'm standing in line, so you're either going to be in front of me, behind me, or next to me. And then all of a sudden, somebody will just say, blah, 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 blah. You know what the real elephant in the room is? And I just laugh. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. It's like, this is crazy. So it's almost as if people are doing some kind of interkinetic, like, energy thing out to the universe. It's kind of wild to me. It's just like, damn, has everyone always been using this phrase, elephant in the room or whatever? Or is it just recently I've been paying attention to it because the acronym in the name is kind of part of my life now. I've kind of made it a thing now. So have you guys ever had a situation like that where you talk about this? Now I'm not talking about, tracking ass Facebook, right? Where you have a conversation with somebody and your phone is in your pocket or your purse, and next thing you know, you get these ads like that. But I'm talking about, have you ever had a conversation and an X amount of time later, it comes up with somebody else, or it comes up in a conversation where it's like, oh my God, just 2 days ago we were talking about this. Ain't that shit weird? How that works? I don't know. It's like I said, man. It's kind of funny. But if you guys have experiences like that, what do you think? Do you think nothing? Is that not that big of a deal to you? Is it one of those situations where it motivates you? Are you more of a pessimistic person where you see it and you take that as a sign to stop? Does it freak you out? Like, what is that? I just think it's kind of interesting for me, Typically when I do something and the universe kind of returns it right back to me in a way where it's like, whoa, I did not see this coming. This is kind of crazy. My mindset is I take it as a way to move forward, as an inspiration. Like I said, the universe is putting this out there. So it's kind of like a constant reminder of what you're doing, right? It's like, hey, elephant in the room. It's weird how the universe is putting that out there. So I take it as this platform is actually something that's going to be good for people. But again, my brain is extremely unique when it comes to imagining things. I'll take an anthill and make Mount Everest out that motherfucker, good or bad. But just curious if anyone else has a kind of same situation with their daily routine, or an idea or thought or dream that you've had. It's kind of crazy, like I just kind of take it as a calling, Interesting. So another thing, this has kind of popped in my mind earlier. What is something that someone could wear and it becomes your weakness, right? Something that instantly turns you on, right? I posted this on Facebook earlier today, actually, on my personal page. And a lot of women in some of the groups that I posted this in kind of said the same thing. Cologne, which is wild, right? I used to have a cologne and fragrance business about, now 12 years ago. And scents and fragrances were like my thing. I loved them. Some of my favorite cologne that I would wear that goes good with my body chemistry, was Giorgio Armani Code. That was like my shit. That was my executive, serious, okay, we about business type of cologne. It was Giorgio Armani Code or Black Code. My other one would be Kenneth Cole Black or Jean-Paul Gaultier. Those three in particular were kind of like a signature thing. And what I used to do in that business at the time was me and some of the people, we would make combinations of the different fragrances, right? So it was easier to sell. So I would do 2 sprays of Armani Code, 1 spray of Kenneth Cole, and a spray of Jean Paul, and like get a certain unique scent. And so when you mix these 3 together, in order to get this particular smell, you got to buy these 3 colognes, right? We made a trip, this guy Scott and this other guy Kevin, we made a trip out to Las Vegas to sell some stuff, but we really weren't familiar with how Vegas operated, meaning we didn't think about it. People come to Vegas on Thursday so they can live it up on Friday, they can live it up on Saturday, they can recover on Sunday so they can go home on Monday. We didn't think about that. We got out there on a Saturday and we met a lot of people who wanted the fragrances. They really, really did. The problem was the bottle's like 3.3 ounces. So they couldn't take any of it home with them. And it was literally like damn. So many people wanted it. We just didn't think that part through. So I'm not going to say that the trip was a wasted trip, because not at all. It wasn't a wasted trip at all. But it was one of those, we came out here and what we wanted to do, we weren't able to do because no one could take them back home with them on the airplane because the bottles were too big. So a lot of folks who did sell in Vegas, that was kind of like their thing, right? They would sell it to people when they knew they couldn't go nowhere. They had to buy it, and by the time they realized they couldn't do nothing with it, it was too late for them. But yeah, we didn't think about it at that point in time. But it was fun, man. All those different combinations of fragrances, like I said. So that was a fun time. So cologne was one thing. My favorite, at the time, my favorite perfume for women were Giorgio Armani Diamonds, which I smelled for the first time in my life. I want to say it was like an outlet in San Fernando Valley, or maybe San Bernardino. I'm not exactly sure which one it was. I'm not from Southern California, so I don't know. But I know it was some outlets on your way into California from the Nevada side. But that's the first time I ever smelled diamonds, and I fell in love with that one. Issey was a good one. And I'm really good at smelling a perfume on somebody and kind of getting an idea of your personality, because usually your scent mimics who you are. It's your signature, right? It's your staple. So it's interesting because a lot of people don't wear cologne as much anymore. I don't know why. I feel cologne and watches, like accessories and stuff like that, are features, especially in men, that has become a lost science. It was so huge growing up. Like I said, up until maybe 5-10 years ago, no one cares about smelling good other than your typical deodorant, or they got body spray, right? Now, I'm not going to knock Axe body spray. I'm not going to knock it, but it's not the same type of thing, right? But then you got to be careful too, because you get those people who, when they become nose deaf, they can't smell it, and they kind of go overt with it, right? And then you can smell them 3 stoplights away, right? The stick is so strong. When you get back in your car, you still smell it because it's trapped in your nose hair. That's a bad thing, fellas and ladies, especially for y'all with the white shoulders and the white diamonds. Yes, who didn't like that, right? But cologne is something that I still wear. I was never a big fan of Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio, and the reason why I wasn't a fan of Acqua di Gio, because it was everywhere you saw an ad. But everyone has a certain scent, everyone has a certain flavor that they like. But one key thing is you got to understand, sometimes your body chemistry just doesn't mesh with the scent. Another thing, some of the women put on the Facebook groups were gray sweatpants, and I wonder the fuck why y'all want gray sweatpants. So y'all are perverted heathens. I'm trying to keep this a family show. But what are some of the things that people would wear that's an instant weakness for you? 2 people even said a smile, like a confident smile, which, I mean, that's definitely a weakness, right? A person's smile can definitely change whatever day you're having. And it's contagious too, right? A person's smile, imagine you having one of those days or one of those moments, or whatever it is you're going through, and you kind of just look at your partner, they just smile at you and say, it's going to be okay. That does kind of make you feel, okay, you're right. You know what? I don't even know why I'm tripping, right? So I can understand that. For me, a perfume could do it. Definitely can do it. I think my weakness, boy shorts. Yeah, man, boy shorts. It doesn't really matter because it kind of depends on the person. But it can be like those tight-fitting boy shorts that are too small. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, you know what you're doing when you put them on too. Or the loose-fitting boy shorts. It kind of depends on what you got in mind, right? It kind of depends on your imagination. You know, y'all going someplace or you staying home? You know, is it a day off or does she got to go somewhere? So, you know, it kind of depends on if they loose or if they tight. Depends on what you put on the agenda. I know a lot of people, I'm going to say sundresses. I mean, hey, right. I guess that's why I call this the Golden State, right? Because sundresses are crazy. I remember the first time I was in San Diego was a few years ago. And the difference between women in San Diego and women in the Bay Area. Women in the Bay Area or women in Northern California, period. NorCal, sweaters and leggings, right? Sweatshirt, leggings. San Diego, sundresses and bathing suit. Same woman, ideally. And it's crazy too, because I remember, just a side note, when I was down in San Diego, I was doing Uber. And I told the lady I picked her from a train station, taking her home where I was from. And she lives in San Diego her whole life, right? She's like, I've always wanted to go to San Francisco. And in my mind, I'm like, how the hell did you never been to San Francisco? Well, shut up, David. You've never been to San Diego. So you from there. So of course you wonder how you never been up there. Well, she's from here, thinking, how have you never been down here, right? And she says, she's always wanted to be in San Francisco because she loved the idea of getting dressed and bundle up. I've always wanted to just be bundled up in a sweater and go out on a nice walk and have dinner inside and just nice breeze. And I'm thinking to myself, you live in I guess it is true. People always want what they don't have, right? So, sundresses. Sundresses would be my number 2. I mean, listen, ladies, if you catch your man on the right day and you walk past him on a sundress, he's gonna turn that motherfucker into a necklace, into a chain. Y'all know what y'all do when you be wearing that around the house. Don't act like y'all don't. Don't act like y'all don't. You know damn well it's a windy day, and you put on that flimsy ass sundress with nothing else underneath. You know what your man gonna do. You know your man gonna be like, you ain't going nowhere. And he's gonna paralyze you for a couple hours. Maybe that's what they want, brother. Maybe that's what they were looking for. I don't know. But, you know, those are some things that kind of turn me on. Oh, another thing, glasses. Glasses. That whole sophisticated secretary nerd looking ass. Yeah, that right there, that's, you'll probably get something punctured if you walk around me wearing glasses and boy shorts. You might get something relocated. There'll be some internal relocation going on. That's for damn sure. But, you know, what are some of the things that a person can wear that would turn you on, that makes you instantly just putty, right? I mean, you know, I'm not talking about puppy love putty where you like just all kind of Google and stupid shit like that, but nice attraction, right? Those are some of the things for me. You know, everyone's gonna be different naturally, but that's what I like. I think that's probably pretty cool. Another thing I'm gonna talk about. I want you guys to imagine you're dating for someone for about a year, give or take, right? And this person has a well-paying job. They're in their career. Well, let's not even call it a career. Let's call it a well-paying job. High 5 figures, low to mid 6 figures. That low to mid, you fill in the numbers of whatever you find to be appropriate. Now, you guys have been dating for a year, so they've been in their job well before they knew who you were. And they say, you know what, I'm going to quit this job because this job just isn't something that I want to do. This isn't my passion anymore. You know, for whatever reason, they don't want to do no more, whether it be the politics involved in it, whether it be the commute, their heart just not in it no more, and they're miserable, right? And they decide to quit their job and pursue their passion. Now, their passion happens to be a significantly less amount of money than what they are currently earning when you guys were together during that year, right? Would you stay with that person? Would you support that person if need be? Would you aid that person in their passion? Again, you're not married. You have no children together. It's simply dating, courting. You guys have been together. Is that something that they would need to discuss with you first before? Is it one of those? Is a year too soon for you to make that decision? Is a year enough time, because it's been 4 seasons, and depending on how the relationship is, you have enough invested to where you could make a decision on whether you want to be with that person or not. Like, what's your take on that? What's your take on that? The way my brain works, if you're passionate about it, that's your passion, go ahead and do what you got to do. Right? Me personally. Because my situation is this. We're dating. We're not married. We're not even living together. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Because I'm doing what I want to do. I feel, from my perspective, if you fall on hard times, don't expect me to bail you out. That was your choice to get in that situation. I will support you as best as I can, but I'm not going to necessarily draw myself into a hole to where neither one of us can get us out, right? If your partner fell into hard times, would you allow her or him to move in with you if they couldn't afford their place? Would you move in with them and you guys kind of become one household, a 1.5 income household? Would you do that? What's your take on that? How would you feel about that? That's a very deep question, right? Because like I said, it's not like they're leaving their job for another job, right? I got a friend who, her husband will leave the job over some stupid shit, right? Like, they'll leave the job. They wouldn't give me my lunch at 6 hours. The law says 6 hours. And so for 2 days straight, they made me work 7 hours because someone else was coming. So I quit that job. Like, he's that kind of guy, right? And then he can't understand why nobody will hire him, because he's habitually leaving jobs not even 1 year, or not even 6 months, or not even 2 years. Person will work when everything's going right. But sometimes at a job, there's other personality besides yours, he dips. But he doesn't have a passion on anything except for blaming other people for his shortcomings. But on this situation, your partner is passionate about it. So, of course, there are going to be some hiccups, right? There are going to be some moments where it doesn't go their way because they're discovering something they've always wanted to do, but they're new to it. How would you react to that? Does it depend on what circumstances with you guys? Like, how does that play? Are you in the mindset of, it doesn't matter if my partner wants to do it, I'm gonna support my partner no matter what? Does that depend on if you are married? Does that play a factor on it? Right? Which is it? Just kind of one of those scenarios, man. It's like, damn. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, just curious on how you guys would take something like that. Another thing I want to talk about. people need to be a little bit more considerate when it comes to certain things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, there is no excuse for people to be inconsiderate when you know you have someone coming to your house to perform a service. You know, right? For example, you know you have a scheduled appointment with a medical physician, someone to draw your blood, someone to reload your medicine, someone to change your wounds, a physical therapist, somebody in the medical field is coming to your place to give you medical attention, and you know this, and you still decide to not be home when you know, okay, I placed a DoorDash order on I placed a DoorDash order and it says it's going to be here within this time. Why do you not be ready by the door? Now, I'm not talking about the people who say leave at the door. I'm talking about the people who say hand it to me. Your instructions say call me when you arrive. Why do you not answer your phone? It says hand it to me. How the hell are you going to fall asleep? How? I understand people get caught up in whatever they're doing. I understand you might be in the potty. I understand something may have happened real quick and there's a delay in the time on the app. Because let's face it, some of these apps you got to update almost every 25 minutes it seems, because they got some new shit going on, right? Or there's a glitch, or there's a malfunction, or it's down, or something. But if you order food and it says arriving in approximately 45 minutes, why is it so difficult for you to look at the time and say, okay, it should be here around this time? And plan accordingly to be around at that time. Again, this is for the people who have the instructions handed to me or call me, because your delivery person, she or he, may not have a gate code to get in, because some of you guys, understandably so, don't provide a gate code because of, well, you may forgot to add it in, or you don't know your gate code. I've had people use that as an excuse. You don't provide your gate code because you have a key, so you never use the gate code. You never remembered your gate code. You never even accessed your gate code, right? But if you have someone who's delivering and is a gated area and they can't get in without that, answer your damn phone. It's common sense. Well, uncommon sense. Right? Look, for people who get medical assistance, if you have someone come into your house at 9 o'clock in the morning and they're coming to see you to check your blood pressure, change the bandages on your wound, check your sores, check your medication, why the hell are you going to say, oh yeah, we at Walmart? You know this appointment was coming on. Why did you go shopping at that time? See, it's stuff like that which causes people in the service industry to feel a certain type of way towards the consumer, towards the customer, towards the patient. Because we forget they're human too. Everybody working in this industry, listen, man, their time is money. Their time is money. So you have to respect their time because that's their money. If you have somebody waiting outside for 15 minutes and you just forgot, you have no right to complain if they leave. No right whatsoever. I don't give a damn. That old saying, the customer is always right. The customer is always right, except for when they're wrong. That's the problem, right? When it comes to delivery services, if you order Grubhub or Uber Eats and you have an alcohol order, talking about the state of California, I can't vouch for any other state, but California, they have to scan your ID to verify you are the person of age. It's law. The first 3 letters of our alphabet is ABC. For the government, it stands for Alcohol Beverage Control. And they love to do stings when it comes to alcohol consumption and purchases. They love it. They love to do those kind of audits. They get off on that kind of stuff. So, when a person comes to check your ID, okay, you have to have it on you. 2, it has to be valid. 3, make sure it's you. You know how many times stories have gone where kids have tried to pass as their parent using their driver's license? Parents don't even know the ID's out their purse or wallet. Kids snuck and got it because they thought it would be cool, right? It's interesting. But if you don't answer the door for your order, especially if it's an order where alcohol is needed, or there's an order where it says they need to enter a building and there's no accessible code for them to do that, you don't answer your phone, you don't respond back to text messages because you are so oblivious to the fact that, oh, I live here, they should be able to get in too. That's not how reality works. You have no right to complain if you lose your food. You have no right. None. Okay? If there is a person delivering it to you and you do not give them a gate code to enter so they can find your building, that's not on them. That is your responsibility. Yours. Can't blame nobody but you. Okay? If you can't say, well, you're supposed to call me, you didn't answer. Well, you're supposed to text me, you didn't reply. You're supposed to leave a voicemail, you're supposed to answer your damn phone. Do that. How about that? If you are having someone come to your home, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you, and you live in an apartment complex, why don't you put the building number, not the unit number, the building number in which you live in? Makes it easier for the person to find you. Because someone can live in unit 343. But you can have apartments where there's 2 separate complexes on one lot. Because you have a property like this in Roseville, California, off of Eureka, I believe, right next to the Safeway. Not Eureka, I'm sorry. Sierra College. Where when you turn in and you go right, that's a separate complex. But if you veer to the left, that's a different complex. But they're practically on the same lot across from one another. So 343 can go either way. Make sure you put which building or which complex, which name, which direction. Help your driver out. Another thing, no, your driver is not supposed to wait for somebody else to come and go in behind them. What kind of dumbass shit is that? You come to my gated community and, hey, Decal, what's up? This is your Uber Eats driver. I'm at the gate. What's the code? Oh man, I'm not giving you the code. Would you just wait for somebody to show up? Come in behind them. That's not how that works, people. That's not how that works. That's how your food don't get delivered. because of inconsiderate shit like that. Understand something. These people are doing a service. These people are not your servant. There's a big difference. You didn't have to drive to the restaurant to pick up your food. Somebody picked up your food and brought it to you. At least you can do is make it as easy as possible for them to drop off the delivery. At least you can do is that much. I am not even talking about tipping, because I'm the kind of person, if I see the dollar amount and I like the dollar amount, I'm going to accept the order, right? It's kind of one of those things where if someone offers you a job, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars an hour to do this work. If the pay rate is fine and you're fine with the responsibility, don't bitch about the tips, because the tips is called a gratuity. It's not called an obligationary. Does that make sense? Of course it don't, because you're mad about that for some people. But for those who have this expectation of you get paid what the order is, that's a foul mindset as well. Because you may not have to tip your driver, but at least what you can do is make it easy for your driver to get to you. So it's seamless, it's flawless. Simple as that. I've heard stories where someone goes to do delivery, and even though the consumer wasn't giving them any tip, there's stories of people leaving food and drink by the door, especially on hot days, right? Here's water. You can tell the water it's not hot. You know, they switch the water out, they switch the food out, they put it in a place where it's not directly in the sun. See, that's an appreciation for your driver. That's a gratuity right there. I can't give you cash, but you know what? Here's some cold ass water. Take what you want. Here's some snacks. Take what you want. Thank you very much. That's how you give back. Simple as that. Because these people, their livelihood, when you're taking fuel and maintenance and time, that's money. So even if you give them many travel bags of pretzels and cold plastic bottles of water, for these folks who really don't spend that money on them to eat because they're too busy trying to make the money to live, that's extremely helpful. Extremely helpful to do. But some of you people out there, man, it's a cold world when someone's trying to get a hold of somebody and you don't respond back to them. And they've done everything they can to reach you. And they're sitting there waiting for 5, 10, 15 minutes. It's bad enough that some of these dashers and some of these Uber Eats drivers and some of these Grubhubbers, they gotta wait 20, 30 minutes at the restaurant. Because the restaurant might be behind of all the orders they got going. Right? A 20-minute delivery from pickup to drop off sometimes could take 45 minutes to an hour. And most of these drivers, they don't get paid to sit and wait for the order. They get paid once the order is picked up. They don't get paid to wait. They get paid to wait in traffic. And nobody's trying to sit in traffic. So, be a little considerate. And for the dashers out there and for the Uber Eats drivers and the Grubhubbers who are listening to this podcast, don't eat somebody's food because you mad at the world. That's not a good look. That ain't your food. Don't put your hands in the bag and take fries, man. Like, I know times are rough, but try your damnedest to have a little bit of a moral compass to where self-dignity, I guess, some self-discipline maybe, because that's not a good look, right? Because my mindset is this. When I was in the training program for the perfume business that we talked about earlier, we'll be out there and I would have someone brand new with me. We call them F&Ps, for freshly new people. We really call them fucking new people. But, the first week, they were freshly new people. And we would go to territories, different businesses, different areas. And we would go inside and approach people, talk to people. And we would get cussed out by some of them. Why? Because the people who were there before us made such an ass of themselves. And they did it not because the merchant was rude to them, but they did it because they thought it was cool to make a scene. They were trying to impress their F&P by showing how much of a Billy Badass they were. Right? Which gave the F&P the mindset of, oh, it's cool to do this. It's kind of like children, right? Your kids see how you react and they mimic you. They mimic how you respond in all kinds of situations. It's impressionable. So when I would take my person with me and we get cussed out, I would be like, dude, I haven't been here in X amount of time. I haven't been here ever before. Like, why are you yelling at me? Because you people come here and you always do this. And it's one of those things where that leaves an impression on the F&P. Damn, y'all go around and just piss people off? I don't want to be a part of this. Same thing when it comes to delivery services, right? If you have dashers out there who are putting their hands in eating people's food, you might get a dasher who's a college student, a single parent, it's a hot day, it's like their first week, or they're having a hell of a day themselves, and they get cussed out because some Nimrod didn't know how to follow instructions or had no self-control. Simple as that, right? I told you it's hot outside, so everybody be cool. If you are in the delivery service, it's very, very important that you follow the instructions that the customer leaves you. Again, some people don't leave instructions. You're idiots. Those who don't read the instructions that are there, you're the bigger idiot because they tell you, leave it on the table. Leave it on the chair. Do not knock. Do not ring the doorbell. So that means leave it on the table. Leave it on the chair. Do not knock. Do not ring the doorbell. Okay? I believe it was episode 22 where I talked about, or maybe 21, where I talked about how it pisses me off when someone parks in my spot. And if you are going to be parked in my spot, the least you can do is put your hazard lights on. So that way, at least I know it's someone who's going to be here temporarily. They're probably just looking for something, dropping something off, or picking something up real quick. It allows me to, be patient. They know they're parked in a place they're not supposed to. They're just being real quick about it. Okay, fine. Don't park in someone's driveway, bro, if you don't live there. Park in front of the house. If you have to double park in the street, put your hazard lights on. Common courtesy, right? I know there's places like San Francisco where it's trickier because the streets are only so wide, right? And there was an article where the people got a ticket for parking in their driveway. But in certain instances, like San Francisco, at least when I talk to police out that way, if you have your hazard lights on, it lets them know it's a temporary spot. And they know parking is a bitch in San Francisco. Anyone who's been there, you driving is a bitch in San Francisco. It's like Stairmaster for your transmission on your car. It's crazy in that city, right? Just try to do your best, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to uncommon sense, right? Just do your best. Someone's coming to your home, be punctual. And if you know someone's coming to your home, be respectful of their time and be there. Simple. If your house is not presentable and you have someone in the medical field coming to your home, clean up your nasty ass house. Nobody in scrubs with needles and medication wants to sit someplace where you have roaches, dog waste, flies in food, All because you comfortable in that don't mean that they should be. You shouldn't be comfortable sitting in all that, laying in all that, living in all that. You shouldn't be. But if you choose to be, don't force your medical person to have to be. Right? Because they try to do a medical service for you. And that condition could be part of the reason why you're not recovering as fast as you should be. Because of all the issues that's going around in the air and in your bed or on your floor. People need to be a little more cautious, need to be a little bit more aware of what they got going on. Again, that's my interpretation. That's just me. I know I went a little long on that rant, but I figured it was definitely needed. Want to give a shout out again to Clarissa Johnson for her party. If you go to the our Instagram page at E.I.TH.R, you'll see a post that she made regarding a prize that you could possibly win. So if you head over to our Instagram, the Ether, you'll see the post right there where she's like, hey, Teasters. You'll kind of see it right there. And she has a little prize you can win. You got to follow some really simple instructions. And once you follow those instructions, you can qualify for whatever it is that she's got going on over there with her business. But want to go ahead and give a shout out to that. So, again, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you investing in me for the past hour. I do appreciate you subscribing to the page. I do appreciate your attention. Everybody that's listening for me here in California, that's listening to me over there in New York, that's listening to me in Texas, people, overseas, Scotland, United Kingdom, Australia. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. Sometimes the Lord may not come when you call, but damn it, he's right on time. So we're going to get better as this time goes on, but this is episode number 23. Episode 24 will happen on Monday next week, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you to all the sponsors who are supporting this podcast. Here at the HQ, headquarters of GNS Inc. in Sacramento, California. I want you guys to have the best weekend you possibly can. Stay cool, and we are out. Love y'all, baby. Be good.
Good day. So, I hear you're looking for something stylish and impressionable. Something that will show the world your strength and your superpower. Well, can't help you with the superpowers, but I can help show the world how strong you really are. Well, strengthen your character, shop by Nat. Are you listening? Good. Jot this down. Mile.today. Again, that's mile.today. MILE.today. A GNS collection.
Hola, soy Henry de Nueva York y escucho el E.I.T.H.R podcast con mi amigo D.Cal.
State ascoltando il podcast E.I.T.H.R con D.Cal.